Hi everyone, how are you today? This is Bess McCarty, coach for network marketers with my school, the MLM Millionaire Club. Today, I would like to share with you some really cool tips about telling stories. They can shortcut your prospecting, they can reach right into the heart and the mind and the imagination of the people that you're talking with about your product or your business. And they can make it so lovely and easy and seamless for you when you're sharing your prospecting, when you're sharing with people about your business. So why are stories powerful? Why do you hear about these all the time, and why should we use them? Well, stories strike the imagination. They stir the emotions. They're memorable. Stories stick. People remember them. That's why they say that facts tell and stories sell, because they go in. They relate to the person. The person says, "Oh, I'm like that. That could happen for me. That happened to them. Why couldn't that happen for me? I think that could happen for me too. I think I can have a better life, or better health, or better financial life. All those things." And another cool thing about stories is they tell the person that they can have a better life, etc. You don't have to tell them. They tell them that your products and or your service or business can help them to have a better life. And they tell themselves that. So it's better if it comes from inside them than from outside, isn't it? It's better if it comes from inside them. So stories. One of my first one came when I was a network marketer for a health nutrition company, and I went door to door in my neighborhood, and we had a vitamin, mineral, and herb supplement that was just wonderful, plus protein powders. But it was that supplement that one of my neighbors said helped her hot flashes. She no longer had hot flashes. So that was like my first story. My strong story, besides I felt overall better myself, but now I had a story that I could tell middle-aged ladies, this helped my neighbor's hot flashes. So it doesn't say, it can help you. They tell themselves, I bet perhaps it can help me too. Hi, Mary. Hi, Joe. Hey, good to see you guys. Talking about stories today, the power of stories, and what you can do with them. I suggest that you collect stories on index cards and file them behind categories. The categories could be moms, corporate workers, students with loans to pay off, seniors facing retirement. You could file them also according to profession. For example, realtors, attorneys, personal trainers, massage therapists, dentists, chiropractors. It could be according to age. It could be young or old people. It could be men or women. It could be special situations like homeless. I have a few of those homeless stories tucked away. I'm not in a network marketing business anymore. I've just dedicated solely to coaching the last 12 years. But I have these stories. I go out prospecting all the time about network marketing itself. So I have these stories that I tell people. And I have my pet people that you can feel they're, some of them are getting ready to do network marketing, or getting, more desperate in their lives, more open to it. But I follow up with people, my friends. I care about them and want to let them know about this wonderful profession. So where do you get these stories? They can be your own experience with it, both your product and your business. They can be your customers. So collect those testimonials, their results with it. You can get stories on your team calls, meetings, company events. And another really cool place you can get them is I have a link on my website where I collect these generic success stories that you can use, you can borrow, and tell these about all different situations. So I'll post that link when this video is done. Now, how to write your compelling story. This is what I help clients do. A lot of them will bring to me their stories, and they're good, but we make them great. And this is how we do it. We make the difference very clear. The greater the difference from before using the product or before getting into the business to after, the more dramatic and the more memorable it will be, and the more it will demonstrate the point. So the greater the difference and the more specific you can be, and I'll give you some examples in just a minute, but the more specific you can be. So instead of just saying, well, I have more energy, please say something specific like, I need 2 hours less sleep a day. You know, it's a whole new life. Or I have energy to play ball with my grandkids now. And instead of saying, well, my health is better, you could say, well, I sleep through the night now. Or I'm off all my medications. You know, thank goodness, because of all their side effects. I feel so much better. It's a whole new me. Or, you know, specific examples about how it helps. And also what that means to me now is that I can help my family and I can live my life's purpose. I'm going to live long enough and healthy enough to do all of the things that I'm meant to be here to do. So tell them that too, your why, what it means to you, the repercussions that it means. Another story could be about skin. For example, instead of saying, well, it makes me look younger, you could say, last time I was in a restaurant with my son, people mistook me for his sister. And that's since I've been using the products. So, you know, tell us, the more specific, isn't that cool? That gives them something and to latch onto. And I learned this from what servers are taught in a restaurant. If you notice how they sell to you, if a server says to you, would you like some dessert? People are less likely to order than if the server says, would you like some of our delicious dark chocolate mousse or our luscious strawberry cheesecake? People are more likely because now to get dessert because now they have something specific to think about. So that's why we want to be specific with your stories. Now, compelling differences before and after. Here's one example of a client that I worked with, and we developed his story to be as such. Instead of saying, well, I feel better now that I'm on my products, well, yeah, we sort of covered that. I'll cover now a business story. Instead of saying, well, I now have a way to make a living for my family. I'm now better off financially. Instead of just saying that to someone, we developed his story, and he had a great story. So this is what it was. He said about age 40, he just sort of woke up. Hello, Carlene. He said about age 40, he just kind of woke up and started doing the math. And he said, wow, I've been working 25 years, and I'm probably going to work another 20 years. And I don't, you know, am I going to make it ahead financially when inflation is eating up all of my savings? And when, trying to get all of his details here, and he was saying, now, what if I become sick? Will I have to go live with my family? You know, and what if in 10 years I have less energy? Well, I'll probably have less energy than I do now. What am I going to do? I can barely keep up now. What is retirement going to look like? And so he started thinking, well, I better start my own business. So he did, a brick and mortar business. And it didn't work either. He had to work really hard. He could just to get out of the black, and it just didn't work. He ended up having to close it. So now he's really panicking. And what happens is network marketing comes along for him. A company comes along. He falls in love with the products. He looks at the business. He does the math. It makes sense. He sees people earning money big time in network marketing. He knows he can do it too. They're no different than him. And at last, he is making a good living for his family. He has good hope for a future. He knows he's going to leave a legacy to his family that will affect generations to come. So this is this man's business story, how he went from desperation and panic to a solution. And this can fit for many people, right? There really is no better answer in this economy that I know than network marketing, and no one has been able to give me one yet. So people need you guys out there. Tell these stories. You can tell this story that I just mentioned, and in a few minutes I will put the link to these stories so that you can read them yourself and use them. Now, you should always have at least two stories. One is your product and one is about your business. You can have another story that is for challenges. Thank you. You can have a challenge story, such as, let's all work together as a team. Let's all lock arms and get people out of debt, or help people to be their own doctor in their own home, or whatever your mission call for your purpose for your challenge is. So you would develop that, your why, your mission statement, what you're all going to do together, how you're all going to change the world. That is a third kind of story that you should have if you do a challenge, or put on, or gather your team and create a mission that you can work together. So I will give you a link to this story I just told, and my generic stories, which I've collected, which you can use for your network marketing business. Anybody have any questions or comments? Please type them in below. Thank you, Carlene. You're a beautiful lady too. Welcome everyone who is here. Thank you for your little likes. Any questions or comments? Share how you've used stories, how they work for you. Well, I challenge you to think of what did you get, what was one thing that you got out of what I said today that you will take away and use in your business? What was one takeaway, one thing that you will use? Was it to tell stories with a greater difference? Was it to be specific? Was it to go onto my site where I collect those generic stories and start doing your index card files and start collecting them? That's powerful, because if you have stories sort of in your mind, the back of your mind, they're in your file, or you review them every so often, then you'll have them in your head when you need them, when you're in front of someone that you're telling about your product or business, and then a story will pop into your mind that will just fit them. So the more stories that you collect, the more that you can pull up one that will match that person exactly, and or very as close as you can to their situation. They say, oh, okay, another teacher built up her network marketing business, and then she was able to retire and help people a lot more than she was as a teacher, because they're requiring so much admin from teachers right now, aren't they? They're just overworked and everything. Welcome, Lisa. So, hey, hi, and great advice. Thank you, Carlene. So, if you can collect stories that then the more that you collect, the more likely you're to have one to exactly match what the person in front of you needs to hear, that will closely match their situation and give them hope, a bridge from where they are, the challenging place that they are, into a better life for themselves. Like, oh, this real estate agent did this teacher did this, I can too. They did it. You know, that's a fact. It's not a theory. So facts tell, stories sell. And I will post the links that I mentioned to this story I told and to the generic stories that you can use. Feel free to do that. Next Tuesday, Facebook Live is going to be called Be the Answer to Their Prayers. That means how to look out for the people who really, really need you, and how to help them to solve their problems, how to recognize them, how to communicate with them, how to see how you can be the answer to their prayers. All of these I just mentioned, the telling stories and how to talk to people, these are just some of the many, many skills that we teach in my School for Network Marketers, the MLM Millionaire Club. I hope that you check it out. And thank you everybody for joining. Any last comments before I go? Questions, tips for other people? Love to hear them. Okay, thank you everybody. Happy prospecting. Let's make the world a better place. Take care. I'll post my links. Bye-bye. Love you. Bye.